Welcome back to Legends in My Own Mind. I'm sitting here today with the legend in my own mind of Central Illinois independent wrestling. My tag partner, my best good friend, the Spotlight Spencer Powers, Daniel Erdley.
Oh, I like that. Erdley.
Danny, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
Man.
This has been awesome. I'm really happy to be back again.
Yeah.
This has been a really, really good time having these conversations.
Man, I loved it. It's been so much fun.
Awesome.
Man, so we have covered your wrestling career.
Yeah.
We've covered your philosophies on wrestling, how you came to those philosophies. Today we're just going to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
You're still a fan. I know you're still a fan.
Absolutely.
Of the business. I think that's so important. I think part of, I've talked on the vlog a lot about I've experienced some burnout this year for the first time, and it's the first time that I've felt like not a fan of wrestling.
Okay, yeah. We've talked about that a little bit. Yeah.
We've talked about that. Yeah. So I just wanted to have an episode where we kind of get back to being a fan.
I love it. I love it.
So today, I want to know who would be on your dream Survivor Series team.
Whew.
Survivor Series Dream Team.
Yeah, this is fun, and I like the way you're framing this because I'm one of those guys that always struggles with the who's your favorite wrestlers question. I've got like the same one or two that I will always say no matter what,
Right.
but like past that, there's a bunch of guys that I would look at as fun to watch or entertaining or inspirational for me as a wrestler.
Yes.
And it's hard for me to number those guys.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because they're all for different reasons.
Right.
But so this is kind of fun. I've got 4 guys I think I'm just going to throw out
All right.
just because they're fun.
Who's your team captain?
All right. Team captain is going to be Roddy Piper.
Ooh, okay.
Perfect for the team captain role.
Rod.
Hot Rod, Roddy Piper.
What puts him on that list?
Dude, okay, so like maybe not necessarily the best as far as wrestling goes, but this dude has got the charisma. He's got like, if there's anybody that I would say that I tried to kind of model myself after as far as my promo stuff goes, it's definitely Hot Rod.
I can see that.
I love him talking.
Yeah.
I love it. And if we're talking about like needing that guy that's going to drive all the heat for this match, yeah, he's my team captain for Survivor Series. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I always loved Hot Rod. Man, a lot of guys feel very natural.
Uh-huh.
A lot of guys feel larger than life and just have that charisma and that X factor. Hot Rod is the same person as Roddy Piper is the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen anybody, even like you see him as this big character, and then you see him doing interviews where he's, even like from the energy of doing a wrestling interview to like laid back, leaning on a fence on his ranch in the Oregon mountains, talking about it. He is the same guy. You can see that thread.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And he's just so much fun. I love going back and just watching how crazy he gets. It's insane. Sometimes he's just bonkers, but I love it. I love it so much. So
rest in peace. Not to throw him down. Though,
yeah, I know.
I gotta say he's also been the only wrestler that like really. Like when he passed, it hit me, and part of that was that it came out of nowhere.
And also he was real fresh on TV and stuff at the time, right?
He had just been on TV. He was doing that podcast.
He did, and he was doing the podcast. He was just on that Legends House show on the network.
Yeah.
Like it had just ended, and then he died. And it was like, oh my God, I just watched this show with him, and it was hilarious, and it was fun seeing Piper, and it was. I get it, man. That was rough. That was a rough one. Well, not to be too much of a downer.
Nah, we'll move on.
Because the next guy also is no longer with us. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Ooh,
okay.
Yeah.
he is one before you
go.
He's one that as much as I appreciate and like everything, he's like low on my list. He never makes it onto like my best of favorites. Yeah, he's always like, oh, he's always one that I'm like, oh yeah, he's Macho Man.
Yeah.
But
so I get that because he's one of those guys too that I've loved him. I've always loved him. Yep. When I look as far as like one of the best wrestlers of all time, I think I would absolutely put him in that category. Yeah, no doubt about it. But he's always one of those guys that's kind of floating around on my favorites list, and I don't exactly know where I would put him. Mm-hmm. But I super think like he's a guy for this particular team. Yeah. He's great as a babyface. He's great as a heel. He could do both. He's another guy that's got excellent charisma. But he's also just such a good wrestler too. Yeah. Like, absolutely, I love watching this guy work. Always have.
So I also got to say, while I say like he's one that always drops off my list, he had a huge impact on me in my stylings, right, in the way I wrestle. Kind of like through. So I was having a conversation with Tom Marson. Tom Marson was coaching me on some stuff and trying to, teach me some things at the time. And we were talking some wrestling philosophies. And he talked about Macho Man. Macho Man used to do this move where you grab a guy by the back of the head, run to the side of the ring, jump over the rope.
Yep. Yeah.
Hang the dude across the top. And he was Tom Marson said to me, like that. Going that above and beyond just to hurt somebody.
Man, yeah, right.
Like
that move is bonkers,
right?
Dude.
And so like I always kind of took that, and that was kind of my thing. Like like a heel. So a heel always will go above and beyond to be able to hurt somebody.
That's totally true. Yeah. Man, okay, so I want to this guy almost this is I guess I'm going to throw an honorable mention out here just because I want to segue off of this. Okay. Cuz a guy I almost put on my team but didn't make the cut, but was kind of my guy that I watched a lot. Yeah. As far as like the psychology side of things when I was developing my character was Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he kind of was the same way in the sense that like there were several matches I used to watch him do this crazy thing where like he would get whipped off the ropes, and as he was coming off the ropes, he would hang onto the top rope and throw his whole body up to kick the guy. It looked gross every time he did it, but also it was like that certainly didn't feel good for him. Right. Because like you're just letting your whole momentum throw your body up and then you're splatting on the ground yourself. But I used to love watching him do it. Right. And I used to always go, man, I think I'm going to steal that. Until I was like, I don't want to steal that. That's, no, that does not look like it feels good for me. But yeah, so I loved Kurt Hennig too. So he's an honorable mention. Okay. But let's go and move on to the next guy on the team. I'm going to throw out the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Oh, okay. I would consider Shawn Michaels to be my favorite wrestler as far as wrestling goes. Yeah. Because that, like we it's all very familiar at this point what kind of a person he was behind the scenes, this and that. And he's obviously a different person these days. But if we're looking at like his pure ability, I mean, he is one of the best of all time. He is one of the GOATs, no doubt about it. No, that dude can go. And I have just always been fascinated by him as a wrestler, dating all the way back. The Rockers were cool, but specifically like his first stint post Rockers. Yeah. From that point on, like I was always like attracted to his matches, always. So he's just one of my all-time favorites.
Man, I always had mixed feelings about Shawn Michaels, and I always had a hard time. Not that he wasn't, not whether or not he was good. It was hard for me because I recognized very early on that I would never be I would never wrestle like Shawn Michaels. Yeah. Style-wise, I would never wrestle like Shawn Michaels. I would never be like Shawn Michaels' character. I would never be like the sexy boy.
Oh, for character. Sure. Same here.
So like it was always very, but his matches were so good. Yeah. I watched lots of his matches.
Totally.
But I think that was also good because it was a real mental exercise for me to try and strip apart his matches and figure out what I could learn even though I didn't wrestle or act like him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And even if you wanted to wrestle like him, you would just be one of a billion other people doing the super kick on the indie scene.
Right.
Because he's absolutely got to be one of the most inspirational guys to everybody, because he's one of the guys that everybody on the indies was emulating, especially when we were training and coming up. Like, everybody wanted to be Shawn Michaels. Everybody wanted to throw the super kick. Everybody still wants to throw the super kick. That's just the thing. Whatever. Super kick city, right?
It's become a thing.
It is a thing. I mean, we've gotten to the point where that's basically like wrestling meme status. I mean, like the Young Bucks do it as a joke, but everybody loves it, right? Like,
well, I think the Young Bucks started. Like, the Young Bucks have taken it all the way.
They did.
You know, like they were ones that did it so much,
it
became a joke.
Exactly.
And then they were just like, oh, well, this is a joke
this
now.
is just our thing now. Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely. And good for them for doing it. They rose above being just another guy doing a super kick to, like, you know what I mean? They made it their own. There's an important wrestling lesson for you.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, so final guy on my team. This is going to come to no surprise to anybody.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh, hey, tough guy. No, it's obviously The Undertaker. My all-time favorite wrestling character, but also a very good wrestler. And we did, here's a plug, we did a whole series of podcasts on The Undertaker and his WrestleMania streak called The Streak Easy.
Maybe I'll click somewhere.
So we had a lot of really good conversations on that podcast of just how good Mark Calloway is too. Like, he is just a great wrestler. Like, dude's got some serious psychology. He's an obvious star. Yeah. Even looking back in the early days, you can look at him and see something different about him.
Oh, yeah.
That just rises above everybody else. But it's the character itself that drew me to him as a kid and made me a fan of Mark Calloway. I was an Undertaker fanboy, straight up fanboy. Still am. I still mark out.
Yeah.
I can't help it, man. But I love that, because that's one of those things that reminds me that I'm still a fan of this, even after all these years of being involved in it and doing it and having highs and lows in the business. When that gong hits and I feel that excitement inside, that's how I know I'm still a fan of this. Yep. I'm still a fan of the business. Yep. So he has to be the final member of my team.
Perfect.
And he's also the one that wins, because this is at WrestleMania and he doesn't lose.
Survivor Series match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I just made that.
Well,
so that I wanted to make sure Undertaker could win. Brock Lesnar can't be on the other team.
Roman Reigns is on my team. So.
Oh, no! The other guy that beat.
So he wins. He wins. Sorry.
Crap.
Man, Danny, thank you so much for doing this.
Hey,
with
of
me.
course.
This is just the first cycle of this series. I'm super excited. I want to sit down with all of the legends of Central Illinois wrestling and do this kind of thing with them.
Yeah, man.
I hope you guys have fun. I hope you'll join me as I go through everybody. Join the rest of us. Couldn't have had a better way to kick it off.
Awesome.
Danny, you are a true legend in my own mind.
Oh, thank you so
man.
much. No, thanks for having me, man.
Anything you want to tell everybody before we wrap this up?
I'm just
Final thoughts?
gonna kind of reiterate what I was saying before. Like, if you want to be a wrestler, give it a shot. Do it the right way. Find yourself a school, get involved, and give it a shot. But whether it's wrestling you want to do or anything else, if it's something that you're passionate about and you're excited about and you want to give it a try, do it. Just do it. Because you're never going to know if you don't try. There you go.
Bam.
Yeah.
Never going to know if you don't try.
Yep.
I think that applies to everything.
It really does.
Wrestling for sure, but anything you're sitting there right now thinking about doing, starting a YouTube channel, becoming an Instagram influencer.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot. You'll never know if you don't.
Never know. Yep.
Guys, thank you. I'll see you next week.